Welcome back to the 31305 podcast, episode 47. We're getting close to that 50, that big 50 milestone. Pretty boring week, not gonna lie. Not much going on, but we're here to wrap up the first two games of the Stanley Cup Finals, NBA Finals. Joey Chestnut news. Didn't think you'd think that was on the bingo card for the day, but as always, Taylor joined by the Bud, soon to be newlywed Alex. How's life?
Good. I mean, wedding's still a couple months away, but it's good, man. Life's good. I have a beautiful sunset I get to look at my desk in my apartment. NHL finals. I wish I brought my Panthers hat. I do have one. That's the only gear I own for the Panthers, but it's been going well. I did see both games fully. I saw both games. I'll probably watch the game on Thursday when it happens for game three in Edmonton, but good week. It's been a good week.
We'll start with the more popular sport in basketball. We had the first two games of the NBA Finals. I think it's gone how we expected it to go. We had thought, maybe if Boston or if Dallas gave them a scare in game one and stole that one, or at least win game two, that they'd have a chance. It's not looking good. They lost the first game by what, almost 20 points?
Yep.
And Luca had 30 points, 10 rebounds. Game two, I'd say, I guess, was a little bit closer, 105 to 98. Again, Luca with a triple double. Drew Holiday, kind of out of nowhere, was the player for the Celtics that did the best. I just we'll break down the games a little bit more, but overall, the series has to be over at this point.
I wouldn't count it out just yet. Again, we said it before the series started. Boston's lost eight total games, I think, the entire year at home. Very tough to beat them at home. We said if there could be a game they slip up, it'd be game two, which it kind of was. We'll get into each game, like you said, in a minute. I wouldn't put it past Dallas to win both games at Dallas, but like you said, I mean, if Boston wins even game four, I think the series is done. I don't think Boston loses a 3-1 lead. Um, but Dallas, yeah, Luka's been carrying them a lot. Kyrie's kind of disappeared. They've gotten decent play from other players. Dante Exum, player of game two, just like Drew Holiday was for Boston for game two. But they need more. They need more from their peripheral pieces. Maybe they figured out when they go back and play on, what is it, Friday? Or no, yeah, it's
No, they
Friday
play
is the
tomorrow.
next
They play
game.
tomorrow.
Oh, wow, okay. Wednesday.
Is it tomorrow?
No, I think you're right. I think it's Wednesday and Friday are the
No,
games.
it's Thursday. It's Thursday.
Okay, Thursday.
Oh
Good.
wait, no. Oh, it is Wednesday. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong schedule. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. So hopefully they figure out tomorrow because if they lose game three, the series, like you said, is truly done.
Yeah, we'll start with game one. I mean, it was really just it was all Dallas the entire game. It was never really close. I think the closest it got was like 73-64, and that's really not even that close. I mean, I think the story of the game for Boston, they shot 42 threes in game one. They hit 16 of them. So, I mean, that right there, if you're shooting 42 threes, making, almost 40% of them, that's a recipe for success. Dallas shot 25%, 7 for 27, which still, I mean, 7 threes a game isn't great. It's not bad. But when your opposing team's hit 16, there's really just nothing that you can do. Free throws, I mean, hey, hit your free throws, and maybe they were both shit free throws, but there was nothing going on for Dallas. You had PJ Washington with 14. Luca had 30. 30 points, 10 rebounds, one assist, which was weird for Luca. There was just nothing going on. Like you said, Kyrie 0 for 5 from three, didn't take a free throw, was minus 19 on the court, 12 points. There's just nothing there.
I think their game, yeah, I think their game plan was just don't let Luca be the facilitator, make him be the shot maker and not the
Hmm.
shot creator. Because you're right, one assist for Luca is unheard of. They got to hit their threes, and there's no way. I mean, when Boston's letting it fly from that much and hitting from that much success, you're going to be super tough to come back. They got it down to 8 points in the third quarter. I thought that Dallas might have had a shot when Luca kind of took over right when the second half started, but I mean, Porzingis came in that first quarter and was a firecracker. He had 12 points, four blocks, or something like that. He was a force, even in game two. Of course, we'll talk about game two in a minute. But yeah, Dallas just you could tell once they allowed the Boston to build up again, like an 18-point lead in the third quarter, it was over. Like their best shot was to just pray they could hit more threes than Boston, which wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the box score, it was just so even with Boston. I mean, you had Tatum only had 16, but he had 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Al Horford, isn't going to be a huge scorer. He still had 10.7 rebounds. Drew Holiday with 12 points. Derek White with 15. Jalen Brown with 22. Porzingis with 20 off the bench. Every person that hit a three for Boston hit at least two, and no one had more than three. So it just goes to show they're sharing the ball, they're getting their shots off. And then you go look at Dallas. It's like Luka had 30, Kyrie had 12, Daniel Gafford had 8, Derrick Jones Jr., who I have no idea how he's a starting player on an NBA Finals team, had 5 points, and PJ Washington had 14. Their bench got a combined, I don't know, 17 points. So game one, just it kind of went how we expected it to. Boston being Boston, 37-4 at home in the regular season. Um, Kind of took care of business in that one. Game two, we'll break that one down a little bit more, but it was kind of the same exact thing, except Luca played a little bit better than he did in game one, but it was still the same result, 105-98. It was close the entire game. They flip flopped the lead quite a few times in game two, but there's nothing going on for this Dallas team. There's no depth. Boston is just it's the superior team by far.
That was their chance to win. Like Boston had one of their worst shooting performances in the entire playoffs, similar to game two against Miami and game two against Cleveland. Like if they were going to win one in Boston, this was it. And I mean, talk about the swing play. You know, PJ Washington running down the court, 54 seconds left, going up for a dunk to bring it down to three, gets double blocked, but also
Fouled. I mean,
fouled by
fouled.
Jalen Brown. The block by Derek White was clean. The foul by Jalen Brown was not called. So that would have made it a 3-point game. Instead, it's a double block into a three, up by 8. Game's pretty much done at that point. So Boston definitely just couldn't hit any of their shots. Of course, we'll talk about it more. Porzingis did get hurt with a super strange injury that they're saying that he's probably going to be day to day. He might not play tomorrow. But again, outside of Luca, no help. I mean, Kyrie, you got to be clutch, man. He was bricking it every single shot. Dante Exum was their second best player, along with Daniel Gafford. Like you can't rely on that. You got to let Luca be Luca, which he was way better at assisting this time, finding the open man. But you got to get some help, man. Kyrie's got to put up at least 25 tomorrow for them to have a shot.
Yeah, it's just this is not the Kyrie we've seen all year. 16 points in game two. Again, didn't hit a three pointer. Shot 7 for 18 from the field. 6 assists. The rest of the team kind of picked up the slack. Gafford with 13, Derrick Jones had 11, PJ Washington with 17, Luca had 32, 11, and 11. But again, nothing from the bench. A combined 8 points from the bench. Nobody shot it well at all. It was just a really gross game. But I mean, again, you've got Tatum. He's taken a back seat offensively. Scored 18, but had 9 rebounds, 12 assists to steal. You know, Drew Holiday kind of came out of nowhere, shot 11 for 14, dropped 26 points, 11 rebounds. Derek White had a great offensive performance, 18 points. Jalen Brown had 21, and then Porzingis chipped in 12. So there's just so many different ways that this Boston team can hurt you, whether it's the three ball, whether it's slugging it out like this game where both teams are shooting terrible. I'm still trusting the defense of Boston to be better than the defense of Dallas, and to have Tatum, Brown, Holiday, someone's going to hit a clutch shot, get a clutch block, get a lucky call because that was a foul. But Dallas has to show something. They have to win this next game. If they go down 3-0, I mean, even
Call
if
it. Yeah, just call it.
yeah, we're calling it because even a game four, if they win, you're going back to Boston. You have to win in Boston twice still, so which they're probably going to have to do anyway. But
Yeah.
just they have to show something. They haven't broken 100 points yet in the finals, and granted, it's 2 games. I get it, but from a team with Luca, Kyrie, you're expecting this team to put up decent offensive numbers, and it's just not been there.
Yeah, but I mean, credit to Boston's defense. I mean, they've been able to switch Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Luca, and like they forced some sloppy play. And for the love of God, you mentioned it earlier. Dallas needs to make their free throws in their next couple of games. They've been game two, they would have been tied because they missed I think 9 free throws throughout the game. Like you got to hit your free throws, man. Like I noticed it at one point in the fourth quarter. Like Kyrie to the line, misses both. Daniel Gafford to the line, misses both. Luca, one of two. Like you gotta hit your free throws in clutch time, especially. So maybe they'll have friendlier rims in Dallas tomorrow, but I think they'll play better. I think it'll be a closer game. But like, who's winning Finals MVP at this point? It can't be Jason Tatum. I
Dude,
know
it
he's shooting terrible. He has the worst shooting percentage of anyone in Finals history right now that's played more than 50 minutes in a Finals.
yeah, but I mean, like at the same time, he's got double-digit assists in both games too. Like he's been the facilitator. He's still getting 16 and 18 points. I don't know who you give it to. Like Drew Holiday had a great game too. It's going to depend on what happens the rest of the series because if Tatum drops 30 points the next 2 games,
Yeah, yeah,
Tatum's
yeah,
getting it. If
yeah,
if the series ended right now, I'm probably still giving it to Tatum just because the offensive facilitator that he's been, defensively been good. He's still putting up 16 to 18 points a game. Vegas thinks that Dallas is going to win Game Three. They're minus 2.5. I don't know if that has anything to do with Kristaps being possibly out. I don't think that
yeah,
that would be too much of a swing for them. But the fact that they're minus 2.5 is kind of surprising the way the series has gone. Again, they look better in Game Two. They look terrible in Game One. Maybe getting at the friendly confines of American Airlines Center, gives them that boost, that home court advantage. But I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm taking Dallas or Boston money line. Like that's kind of crazy. Like this series could theoretically be over by Friday.
yeah. Which
That's
is
insane.
so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Think about it. Both, we'll talk about hockey next, but like both major series in America could be over by Father's Day.
yeah,
Like that's crazy. Like to go, because then you've got like what, 3 weeks till the Olympics start. The Olympics start, I think, in
hmm
July this year. So yeah, talk about dog days of summer. We're gonna have nothing. We're not gonna have a podcast because there's gonna be nothing to talk about.
yeah. Well, I actually probably have to take a nice
A
solid
week
2.
off.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
because there's not going to be literally anything to talk about if these series are just 4-0 sweeps.
yeah. So who we got winning tomorrow?
I'm going to take Boston.
Taking
I'm
Boston.
taking Boston. Yeah, they've just looked way too good. Kyrie can come out and drop his 25 points, get some assists, gets some sort of offensive role established, and they could win the game for sure. But I mean, if Porzingis is playing, Tatum's dropping 20 points, 12 rebounds, Derek White's playing good defense. If he blows up for another 20-point game, like you're not expecting that.
Yeah,
So Boston, we've said it all year. They've been the best team in the league. This is their year. If they don't win it, it's a disappointment. They're up 2-0. I think they have the advantage going into Game 3. I think Dallas. I mean, Luka's hurt too. We haven't even
yeah.
mentioned how
He
Luka was
was.
playing
Yeah,
hurt with a chest injury after Game 1. Didn't look like he was injured at all in Game 2. I mean, the guy went crazy, but it's something to monitor too with Luka and how this chest injury is going to react to another game of having to play physically against a good defensive team. So I I'll give Dallas giving one of these wins because we won't talk about. Let's see, Game 4 was Friday.
it
This
won't be
series
after
could
Game
be,
Five potentially.
yeah, this series could is gonna be over by the time we meet next. So
Who
I'll
knows? Unless
say
Dallas wins both.
I'll give Dallas one. They might win. I don't think they win tomorrow. I think they win Game 4 maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah, my take is that the series is done by the time we meet next Tuesday.
I'm gonna say Dallas wins both at home. I'm gonna go on that
Really?
limb. I think it's like this is the game where they definitely feel their backs against the wall, right? And they'll come out with much more energy, much more passion. I think Kyrie has a bigger game in Game Three, and then Game Four, Boston will respond, come back, making a much more closer game, kind of like how Games One and Two kind of went. But it's gonna be close. Like I don't think Boston's gonna get blown out because Boston hasn't got blown out. They've only lost two close games, except yeah, even the Heat game they lost in Game Two was relatively close. The Heat did pull away and win by more than 12, but yeah, I'm still gonna give Dallas the benefit of the doubt. I want it to be a
Yeah.
series.
I mean, just looking at Dallas' schedule, they have lost 2 games since the regular season ended. And like you
Yeah,
said,
Boston. Yeah,
they lost to the Heat by 10 and they lost to the Cavs by 24.
yeah,
Every other game they have won. They have lost 2 games in the postseason. They didn't lose against the Pacers at all. They're hot. It's just
But
I'm not
but
betting
it's
against them.
still also like remember we mentioned it earlier. They haven't played a team at full strength still because Luca's now hurt. We said who was going to be hurt for Dallas, and of course it's Luca, right?
Yeah.
Because
I
you
mean,
know,
to be fair, you can only play who's in front of you. It's not like Dallas or Boston had a choice about it. So
oh
yeah,
no,
they're
you're still going
beating
to
they're
be
beating the teams they
crowned.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're still going to be crowned champion, but you're not going to be viewed as well as like the 2011 Mavs who beat the Thunder, the Spurs, the Lakers, and the Heat at full strength. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the legitimacy and ranking champions, you're going to be in a B list tier of champions just because who you had to play against, and that's not your own fault, but it's how you did.
So
We go,
we'll
yeah,
be on the lookout for game 3 tomorrow, game 4 on Friday, game 5 on Monday. So quick turnaround from Dallas to Boston, only 2 off days. So
yeah,
kind of seems like
yeah,
this is
and
going to
only
be a
one
quick
day
series.
between, and only one day between the games in
Yeah,
Dallas, which is
yeah.
interesting.
They really want to get this one over with.
Yeah, but we go from the dominant team in basketball to a dominant team in hockey, and let me tell you, the Florida Panthers didn't even play their best game. They probably played their worst game of the playoffs in game one. Still won 3-0, scoring an empty netter, like with about 10 seconds left in the third period. Dude, Sergei Bobrovsky standing on business in game one, blocking what, 32 shots? And game two, the story flipped. The Panthers uh, outshot the Oilers crazy amount. I mean, you're the hockey fan, but you like I watched both games and I was like, the Panthers aren't losing a game. The Oilers are they even playing? Like they didn't play with much like they knew how to fight, but in terms of actually on hockey and doing a threat, it was a complete mismatch to me.
No, yeah, there was just nothing going on from the Oilers. They scored 1 goal the entire series. Like you said, game 1, Sergei Bobrovsky, who I said was the impact player of that series, last podcast episode, that he was going to stand on his head. He's been incredible. He's done that. 32 saves in game 1, um, 18 saves in game 2. So right now he's the Conn Smythe favorite, playoff MVP or Cup Final MVP. But game 1,
Yeah,
I mean, 3-0. It looked like the Oilers were just going to come out and stomp them. You know, they had 18 shots in the first period. Florida had 5, but the only number that matters is the score, not the shots.
it was
Um,
one. Yeah,
32
yeah.
to 18 in shots. There's just again, I said it before that Edmonton is not a good team. They're led by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. If you can shut them down, which Florida has done exceptionally with defense, they're not a hard team to beat. They have goaltender issues. They have defense issues. They have scoring issues. They have McDavid. They have Draisaitl. That's it. That's all they have. If you can expose them for that, you can beat them. They are not that great of a team outside of that. So Florida's done that very easily. That first game, not even close. Game 2, not even close. 4-1 in game 2. Let's see who scored. Hey, McDavid got his point in game 2. Got one
Yeah,
point
an
with the
assist. Yeah,
assist. But yeah, I mean, they came back after that first game, threw up 19 shots, scored one. 45 penalty minutes isn't really going to help much.
yeah,
Um, I will say they go back home now, back to Edmonton for game 3, which can be a tough place to play, especially in the playoffs. But this is another one that's looking extremely quick. If Connor McDavid's not carrying this team, there's absolutely nothing going on with them.
dude. Aaron Ekblad has got Connor McDavid in his back pocket. Like he is only on the ice when McDavid's on the ice and essentially trying to be his shadow. Like you said, the one assist that McDavid had in game two, but besides that, like in game one, I think he had like two shots, maybe three shots on target on goal, and the rest were he was just not even a part of it. Like they were, like you said, you shut down their main two attackers, and they just can't function as a team. They're not very powerful. They don't seem to like be a cohesive unit as much. You know, they can pick a fight for sure. I mean, they can trip over someone and get a major and allow a Panthers power play, but it hasn't looked good. Like even when the Oilers have the power play, they don't look more likely of scoring than when they have 5-on-5 on the ice. Like that's what's crazy to me. Like, generally teams control possession, power play, and they get good shots. The Oilers aren't even doing that. They're not even getting good shots on the power play. So again, we'll see how game three happens on Thursday. Is game three,
Yeah, yeah,
right? In
yeah, yeah.
Edmonton?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens Thursday. I'm excited to watch it, but Yeah, I have actually a friend who went to the Edmonton watch party yesterday, or on Monday. But no, it was yeah, yesterday, Monday,
Yeah.
and they were not happy. They were not happy
Oh,
going to the
and
watch party.
there's another thing to watch too is Leon Draisaitl with his elbow to Barkov last night. It doesn't look like he's going to get suspended. There hasn't been anything said from NHL player safety yet. I'm checking now.
Just a fine. I saw it on
He
Twitter.
wasn't
Just
he
a.
wasn't even fined for it. As of
I
right
don't
now,
think he's going to get anything.
he has not been punished from the league. I doubt they'll do anything just because it's Draisaitl. They don't want to kill the series even more.
Yeah.
But could be something to watch if they come back tomorrow and end up saying he's going to be suspended. I doubt they'll do that. It should have been today if he was. But again, this is another one where the Panthers have just absolutely shut down the Oilers. And granted, the Oilers can come out and score 7 on Thursday. I'm not shocked. Connor McDavid could go hat trick, Draisaitl 2
Hmm.
goals, a couple assists. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Bobrovsky's been insane, and it's usually what happens is when your goalie gets hot in the playoffs. That's when you win the cup. It happens almost every year.
Or
You
Lightning,
ride, yeah,
freaking the last 2 years,
you just gotta
or
ride a
when they won it.
ride a hot goalie, and you're fine. Score a few goals, and that's kind of what the Panthers are doing right now. So I think this is a sweep. I think this is a 4-0 sweep.
I wouldn't be too upset. I already got people wondering where the parade's going to be in Sunrise because it's not in Miami. They don't play in Miami. They play
Yeah.
close to the Everglades. So there's going to be next to the Sawgrass Mall in Sunrise.
Speaking of the Everglades, you saw who won the Kelly Cup
The
Finals,
Florida
right?
Everblades, back to back to back, the
Yes,
three-peat.
sir.
Of course, ECHL hockey. We do talk about that on this
We do.
podcast.
We
It went
do. Go
at the
Blades.
Hertz Arena.
That's the local team. We love it. Florida is killing it in hockey, though. I mean, the Everblades winning the Kelly Cup. You got the
Lightning.
Panthers up 2-0. The Lightning have always been good. Hey, Florida or hockey didn't work in the desert, but it damn sure works in the South.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely don't want to talk about hockey in Arizona. Now in the Utah Hockey Club. We go from hockey to our lesser known sports. Mainly, we've talked about a little bit on this podcast with Caitlin Clark and the Angel Reese saga. Now, what we're adding to today, they announced their USA Olympic team for Paris, right? Because again, we talked about the Olympics starting next month. Caitlin Clark was left off the Team USA roster. People were a little upset over that. I mean, I'll ask you how you feel in a minute, but personally, this kind of to me sounds like when they take the team to the Olympics for the NBA, it's like they'll bring one rookie maybe, right, to their team in the Olympics. They generally try to bring their upper name players. So to me, this isn't really a big issue. It's her first year in the league. She just got done with a championship run in Iowa. She's playing every night for the Fever, getting fouled maliciously. Like, let her take the time off, in my opinion. But how do you feel about it?
I think I disagree. I think it's a
Okay.
big. I think it's a big hit. I mean, this team was going to win the gold anyway. I mean, the fact that they have a 42-year-old Diana Taurasi over Caitlin Clark, who's going to bring eyes.
Hmm.
Caitlin Clark's been better than Diana Taurasi this season as well, so I get it. She's a legend in the WNBA. She's great. She deserves it. Whatever. Not only is Caitlin Clark bringing more eyes to the Olympics, because let's be honest, nobody's really watching the Olympics for women's
Women's
basketball.
basketball, yeah.
It's a fact. I'm basketball a lot more. I'm watching it for Caitlin Clark. So again, it's just another opportunity that they have to grow the game that they're shutting it down. Caitlin Clark isn't going to win on the Olympics. The rest of the team is. They are a very good USA women's team. They are going to win it
Yeah.
most likely with ease. So I don't understand, and the fact that the head coach or whoever made the team came out and said we're here to win, not to put eyes on us. Well, that's kind of the whole point of the Olympics, is it not? Is to put eyes on your country. You want
Yeah,
people to
represent. Yeah.
watch your country represent itself and say, "Wow, that's a really good fucking team." So I just think it's another day that the WNBA and women's basketball is shooting themselves in the foot. But hey, maybe she didn't even want to play. We don't know.
True. If you talk about shooting yourself in the own foot, talk about what is the one thing on July 4th you can count on watching. It's
People eating hot dogs.
and specifically Joey Chestnut mowing through dogs.
Hmm.
Not this year, because apparently the 4th of July hot dog eating contest, right, is sponsored by Nathan's Hot Dogs. Well, Joey Chestnut inked a 4-year, however million dollar deal with Impossible Foods for their vegan hot dogs. And he has not been allowed or invited to the hot dog eating contest because he sponsors Impossible Foods. The news broke today. Everyone is talking about how A, congrats to Joey for getting his bag, and B, no one's going to watch the hot dog eating contest if Joey Chestnut isn't there. Like, I personally wouldn't even care about it if he's not there. So I think it's stupid as hell. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. I see where Nathan's is coming from. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like on one hand, you don't want someone who's sponsored by your competitor to be in your event. It's like me, being sponsored by Adidas going to a Nike event to perform. It's just they don't want that. I get it. At the same time, nobody's gonna give a shit now. I'm not even gonna watch it. I don't care. I just want to watch Joey Chestnut slaughter 70 hot dogs in 5 minutes or whatever it is.
Yep.
So, whatever. It is what it is. He got his bag from Impossible Foods, but at the same time, like, why don't you just get your bag from Nathan's and keep doing this? But hey, I will now not be watching the hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July.
You know what Impossible Foods could do? It'd be a short turnaround. Put on their own hot dog eating contest with the vegan dogs. Talk about bringing people away, you know? Like, that'd be a good way for them to capitalize on the marketability he's going to bring, right? Or just have Joy Chestnut just live on it, like Twitch or
Yeah,
something, just in mowing through lawns or like on his
yeah.
Instagram live,
I was gonna say if
breaking through it.
Impossible Foods just does like a Joey Chestnut's gonna go for the record of hot dogs in 15 minutes on 4th of July to compete with Nathan's. I'm watching that over the hot dog contest.
That's what I'm saying.
There
He
is
can bring his own
marketing to be
record.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do something. They're not just going to leave their starter dry because this is literally his event. Like, I know he does other stuff too, like pie and ice cream, but hot dog eating is where everyone knows him from.
Yeah.
Pretty much it for the major news of the week. We do, of course, every year talk about our predictions for different sports, events, awards, that kind of deal. And football, of course, is our main topic. So today we're going to restart that theme with the most important position in the sport, the one who throws the ball, quarterback. And generally rank them in a top 10 fashion. I know you've got your top 10 ready. I'm going to put mine up as we go through it, but take me through your list. Who you think's the best quarterback in football right now, and who's just on the up and coming?
All right, I'm gonna start at the bottom. We're gonna start at the bottom, and this
Okay.
is like projecting for this season, right? This isn't like overall all time.
Like at
This
the
is
end of the year, who's going to be in this
okay.
spot?
Okay. Number 10, the young gunslinger in Indy, Anthony Richardson. He proved he was good last year. You've got Michael Pittman. I think he's going to be solid. That's a fun pick. I know. He's probably not going to be top 10, but if he's top 15, I'm not shocked. Number 9, I feel like this is Mr. Consistent at this point in his career where you know what you're going to get from him. Brock Purdy. He's going to get you, 25 touchdowns, 30 touchdowns maybe. Not going to make too many mistakes. He's got Debo. He's got Ayuk. He's got George Kittle. He's going to be fine. That's number 9. Number 8, I have a feeling you'll disagree with this one because you think this guy's probably going to be higher. I have Tua. Tua could absolutely be a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
The injuries history scares me still. He was healthy last year. I know. I
Yep.
get it. He was. I'm still kind of worried about it. He had a great year. He led the league in passing. He still has Tyreek Hill. He still has Jalen Waddle. It'll be good. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like he might miss a couple games. 7, Jay Herbo. I mean, I feel like he just has to be on the list somewhere. He's better than the 3 I think in front of him. I don't think he's better than the 6 I have ahead. He's just kind of that average guy. They lost Keenan Allen, which is gonna suck. But honestly, they lost pretty much all of their wide receiver core.
Mike Williams, yep.
Mike Williams is
Austin
gone, so
Eckler, yeah.
yeah. So we'll see how that ends up going. I think he'll be fine. He's a very top tier 3 guy. Number 6, C.J. Stroud. I mean, he was insanely good last year. Now he gets Stephon Diggs. That team is just going to be an offense that you're going to want to watch every week. Number 5, Joe Burrow. Had a bad year last year. A terrible start last year.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine. They'll get it. They'll all be healthy. Jamar Chase, T Higgins, depending on what happens with him. I mean, he could be. If T Higgins is gone, I'd probably drop him a couple spots. We'll see what ends up happening with T Higgins, but Burrow, you know, he's. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was last year. Josh Allen for. I mean, you lose Stephon Diggs, but at the same time, it's still Josh Allen. I'm gonna believe in him. I don't like. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't like him. I don't like him playing on a team in our division. I think Josh Allen is still going to be perfectly fine. Even if he doesn't have all the weapons, he still has the legs. Number three, call me biased, call me jaded, whatever you want to call me. Jared Goff was statistically one of the best quarterbacks last year. You now get Amon-Ra, who got his bag. You're throwing Jamison Williams I guess this is technically year three, but really year two because he was suspended, hurt, all that shit. You're finally getting Jamison Williams for a hopeful full season, full training camp. Sam Laporta, number one tight end of the league. I think he might be better than Travis Kelce already. You've got Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery. That offense is going to be, I think, better than what Houston's going to be. Jared Goff, book it here, MVP.
No, no, you're so far off, but okay.
Jared Goff gets MVP votes.
MVP votes, not MVP.
Someone will vote him number one. That's my hot take. Is someone votes him number one for MVP this year? He might
Okay,
not win
whatever
it. He
you
might
say.
not win it. He's gonna get votes. Someone's giving him a number one. Number two, I think these could be interchangeable too. I put Lamar at two just because I'm not putting Mahomes any lower than number one just because of what he's proven. But Lamar
Hmm.
very easily could be better than Mahomes this year. Does it with the legs, does it with the arm. Easy money there. He's going to be a top three quarterback, no doubt about it. And number one, do we really have to talk about it?
Hermit the Frog, yeah.
It's JJ McCarthy.
Vikings legend.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate your list. I mean, I'll get into mine in a minute, but obvious omission is Jordan Love. I would
Hmm.
argue probably better than Richardson. Jalen Hurts not on this list is also to me a crazy omission. I mean,
He's 11. Jalen Hurts was my 11. I will say
Jalen
that.
Hurts was your 11. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go from the top down. I'm gonna go from one down, make it easier. My list is gonna vary from yours, which is okay because that's the whole point of this, right? One, again, we're saying for this upcoming season, right? So, like by the end of this year, who do you think is going to be the best? Number one, still Mahomes. Okay, Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. Like Travis Kelce, he's got Hollywood Brown now. He's got maybe Rashid Rice. You don't know. We've
Possibly.
got maybe we've got Xavier Worthy, right? Speed. I think they're going to throw the ball more. They're going to put up more points than they did last year. Last year was kind of a defensive year. They're going to go back to 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl, and it was all offense, similar. Two, I'm going Joe Burrow. I think especially T. Higgins is going to stay. They don't have Joe Mixon anymore, so they brought in Zach Moss to be their runner. But I think they're going to be putting a lot of the pressure on Joe Burrow. They use that money instead of on Mixon until we work their offensive line a little bit. I'm going Joe Burrow. Two. Three, I'm not going to go get Jared Goff. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Lamar. I think they have offensive line issues, but Lamar Jackson. Like, oh no, the offensive line is crumbling. Whatever am I going to do as one of the fastest men in the
Yeah.
NFL?
Sixty yard scramble for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Oh wait, let me just flip it to Derrick Henry real quick, just on the
Yeah.
lateral, just to be cute. Yeah, I think Lamar's gonna have a great season this year. Four, I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy at four. I think he's gonna have a
Wow.
really good season. CMC, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel. This is the year, right? I mean, they already went to the Super Bowl last year. Another full year in the offense. This is their season because remember they got a bunch of salary cap decisions to make. Brock Purdy, I think, doesn't get hurt. I'm going Brock Purdy at four. Five, I'm going to go CJ Stroud. I think you put in Stephon Diggs to this team. You already have Nico Collins progressing to be another great quarterback. Tank Dell. Like you bring in Joe Mixon to the fold, right? A good pass catching back. I think CJ Stroud's in a monster year this year. Six, six is where I'm going to put Jared Goff. I think six, Jared Goff has a great season. I think maybe not MVP, but maybe getting some peripheral MVP voting. They still run the ball too much, I think, for Goff. Again, they're a great offense, but I still think they run the ball too much for him to get like the stats wise to get MVP. versus like other candidates, right? Total yardage. 7, I'm putting Tua. I'm putting Tua at 7. I think he does not get hurt this year. I think with a healthy season, you bring in OBJ, you've got the same core, right? Waddle and Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane getting faster. You bring another running back, the kid from Tennessee. I think he's gonna have a great year. 8, I'm putting. I was about to say Jared Goff again. I'm putting Jalen Hurts at 8. I think again, new offense that's going to be completely different from last year. Jalen Hurts might win MVP this year. I'm just saying, Jalen Hurts might win MVP. I think AJ Brown. You've got Saquon Barkley now. Like you have a legit running threat besides the quarterback. I don't think he has to run it as much. He'll be able to throw the ball more. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a great season. 9 is where I put Josh Allen. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. Who is he throwing the ball to? They don't have Stephon Diggs. They don't have Gabe Davis. You're telling me they're going to run a 2 tight end set all the time and just throw it to the tight ends, right? I think Laporta is great. I like Knox, their other tight end. Not Laporta, sorry. Laporta's on the
Kincaid.
Lions. Thank you, Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid is also really good. I know,
I
I
was
got
like,
mixed up.
when did we trade
When was
Laporta?
the trade, right? When was
What
the
the fuck did
trade?
I miss?
No, their tight ends are great, but I mean, they don't have a solid number one option to receiver. They got Keon Coleman, who drafted second round FSU.
He's
I
gonna be
think
good
that's going
though.
to make
Keon
he'll be
Coleman's a
good,
second
but not
rounder.
Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis combined good. I think he has a down year. They also lost a lot of defense. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be Josh Allen's this year. And at 10, you're going to hate me, but I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers at 10. I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers at 10. I think this will be the year. Obviously, he was hurt all of last year. It's mainly compared to like who's he going up against, right? Justin Herbert, better talent, way worse supporting cast. They're probably gonna run the ball more, right? I don't think he gets the numbers. Richardson, young, really good, but more of a runner than a thrower, even when he was doing great last year. And still, I mean, he's only played what 6 games in the NFL. He's still a young player. He'll be great, but I think Aaron Rodgers has got the experience. Like I looked at other people. I mean, I looked at Dak Prescott even for number 10, but Kirk Cousins, in Atlanta. But I think Rodgers does better than them this season. Granted, he doesn't beat crap in his first game against the Niners on Monday Night Football, but yeah, I think this would be my order even if I was drafting for fantasy football too. I'd probably pick Burrow and Purdy over Josh Allen. So if you want Josh Allen, you can have him.
The Allen one I don't really agree with. I mean, they have Khalil Shakir, Boise State guy who had over 600 yards last year on 39 catches. They brought in Curtis Samuel, who also over 600 yards. That was with Sam Howell. So I think Curtis Samuel could get easy 900 yards this year with Josh Allen. I think Shakir could have an 800, 900 yard receiving year with Josh Allen again as the number one. They brought in Chase Claypool, who I mean probably isn't really going to do anything at all, but
Yeah.
it, it's the name that you know that he's throwing to. Marquez Valdez Scantling is not as great as he was before, but that's still there. And then of
I don't
course a
think they
bunch
have a
of tight
1,000 yard
ends.
receiver. I don't think they have a thousand
Uh,
yard receiver.
I think Khalil Shakir could be. He's good. He's gonna be a
I don't
number
know.
one. He's gonna be that new Stephon Diggs. He's not gonna be as good as Stephon Diggs. Don't get. I'm not. Don't
Yeah,
put
yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
But
Yeah. But if he breaks 1,000 yards and scores 8 touchdowns, I'm not shocked. Jalen Hurts. I had him at 11. You have him at 8. We're not far off. But you also can't say they're gonna run the ball more with Saquon Barkley and he's gonna win MVP when you said the exact opposite for Jared Goff that they're gonna run the ball and he can't win MVP.
well, I think they're no. I said they're not going to run the ball more. Like because Philly has been like Jalen Hurts specifically isn't going to need to like do a tush push or like be option plays because they have Kellen Moore now. And look at the stats that Dak Prescott put under Kellen Moore, right? 4,500 passing yards. I'm not going to say it's going to be the exact same thing, but when you've got AJ Brown and you've got Devontae Smith, like, and you've got Saquon who's a good pass catching back, definitely not what you had in DeAndre Swift in the past. No offense, but like I think just overall, like they're going to be a much better team this year offensively, and you know the media doesn't like the repeat of MVP. They like to get a new story. The Eagles were down last year, so they're like, oh wow, the Phillies so back. Look at them. More so on that train.
Who do you think is going to be the worst quarterback? Worst starting quarterback next year? Outside of rookies. We won't say any rookies.
Worst starting quarterback that's not a rookie. I mean, Bryce Young is right there, and so is Will Levis.
Oh, I don't know if Bryce Young is going to be that bad.
Is it bad? I want to say Derek Carr. I
That
think
was my
Derek
answer.
Carr. I think Derek Carr is going to be the worst quarterback in football. And I mean, I even thought of, but Baker had a great year last year, so I wouldn't really put it up to Baker. T Law kind of wasn't that great. I mean, there's not like outside of rookies, right?
You're
There's
missing a
not that
really
many.
easy one, too.
It's
Daniel
not
Jones,
Geno.
brother. Daniel
Oh yeah,
Jones.
I honestly forgot he even existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Jones actually is my vote.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is my
I
vote.
was
Yeah, I forgot he
thinking
even
Derek. I was
existed.
thinking Derek Carr, and then I was like, no, he might be okay.
Dude, the NFC sucks at quarterback. Those are all well, three of those were NFC
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
Yeah. Aiden O'Connell is gonna be pretty bad in Vegas.
Oh God, I forgot. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Uh,
I forgot that even happened. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's at least got Devontae. Well, I mean, Daniel Jones has got Malik Neighbors, but
How good is
who I think
Russ
is going
gonna
to be
be?
really good.
Is
How's
Russ gonna
what?
be cooking in Pittsburgh?
It might not even be Russ. It might be Justin
There might
Fields.
be some. There's gonna be some bad quarterbacks next year. I think.
Do the Panthers play the Giants this year? Because that's going to be like the toilet
Oh
bowl game.
God, dude.
No, you know what would be worse? I got to look at the Panthers schedule because it's going to be whoever the Panthers play, right? Because Bryce Young was kind of bad. They play the Raiders the third week of the season. They open against the Saints at home. They don't play the Titans, which was what I was looking for. Panthers Titans. Imagine that game. That would be all kinds of
No,
terrible.
if there was any reason for a Wednesday night game, that's it.
They might do Wednesday night games because Christmas is on a Wednesday, and they said they're going to put two games on Christmas. So
I think it's gonna be an interesting quarterback year. We're gonna have like really elite talent, and then I don't think there's really gonna be any like. There's gonna be average quarterbacks, obviously, but I feel like that
yeah,
upper echelon's gonna be a lot higher, and that lower is gonna be really low this year because you've got some interesting rookies. I don't think the rookies are really gonna pan out that well either. I mean, Caleb Williams is I think gonna be a bottom 10 quarterback.
I don't know
JJ
about that. I'd say
McCarthy
middle of the pack. I'd say middle of the pack.
JJ McCarthy's probably going to be a bottom 10 quarterback to start out.
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels has got nothing going around on his team, so
Drake May for the
yeah,
Patriots.
yeah, like it's. I think it's going to be an ugly year for the average to below average quarterbacks.
Yeah, I
Okay,
moved it
so
all to a doc to keep
to,
the records intact.
a good thing that neither of our teams have average quarterbacks. We're good on
Imagine saying that 3 years ago
that.
or
Yeah.
5 years ago. Like, wow, we have people that are considered top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Who'd have thunk?
To be fair, Matthew Stafford but was never thought of one as.
How
Everyone
about
thought
top
he
10
was.
offenses, just in
Oh,
general?
brother, if you
Yeah.
had told me we had a top 20 offense,
If we evolved from Brock Osweiler throwing the ball at quarterback or
you're
Jay
telling me
Cutler.
we don't have a quarterback that runs out of the back of the end zone now? We're good.
I mean, that was 2008, but yeah, that was a long time ago. But again, I think we'll probably keep it up with what? Running backs next? Wide receivers? What do you
Yeah,
want to do?
we'll go running backs.
Yeah, that'll be, I mean, always
Ooh,
fresh blood and running backs, but not really this
that's
draft.
this is
This
about to be
draft didn't have
crazy.
any.
I'm about to have a lion in the top three of every offensive position.
That's a little excessive. I
Sam
mean, we'll get
Laporta's
into it. I mean, quarterback for me was already one.
no. Sam Laporta's top three.
Yeah, tight end, but not wide receiver,
Yeah,
running back.
you're not putting Amon Ra as a top three wide receiver.
Probably four. I mean, come on. Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase. I love him on Raw, but like, I think he's
No,
just
you,
at Jamar
you
Chase's
didn't
level.
even put C.D. Lamb in there. I mean, C.D. Lamb's gonna be number one.
CeeDee Lamb, I mean, for this upcoming season, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think Amon Raw's like he's amazing. I think he's just like one B. Like those are one A's, like top of the top of the top. I think he's just one B. Now, if you look at his contract, he's one A. But
Yeah. Okay. Name two running backs better than Jameer Gibbs.
um, Christian McCaffrey,
Uh huh.
it's
Uh
tough for
huh.
the second one, honestly.
Uh huh.
I can't. No, I can't really say
Hmm.
Saquon. Jonathan Taylor?
Nope.
Maybe Jonathan Taylor.
Brother,
Derrick
did you see
Henry?
the
No.
no.
Derrick Henry? No. I'm trying to think of honestly who's going second. I'm gonna
Exactly.
say I think he's gonna have a much better year this year. Bijan Robinson.
Bijan will be fine with the new
Bijan.
offense.
Bijan. Yeah, I think Bijan.
Bijan will
It's
be good.
close. That's more of a case. Running back, I'd say because running backs are terrible, right? Across the NFL. But wide receivers, it's tougher to sell me on Amon Ra
I'm
versus
telling you now, I'm putting Amon Ra on three. I'm sneak peek. That's Amon
you're
Ra's going
taking
ahead of
Amon
Tyreek
Ra
Hill.
second overall in our fantasy draft. What are you talking
I
about?
might. I might take Amon
You
Ra second
will.
overall.
Because whoever takes him, you're gonna be like, God damn it! Hey, let's do a trade real quick so I can
Yep.
get him on Raw. You're sending him a trade
Yep.
immediately.
Well, no. See, this is what's going to happen: is your dad's taking Tyreek Hill, which means CMC falls to me. So I mean, I have to take Christian McCaffrey again. I
Yeah,
can't not.
unless he takes CMC. Honestly, he likes Christian McCaffrey too.
Yeah, but he also likes Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins. So
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll bring you that and more exciting playoff action. Hopefully, continuing playoff action next week. If not, then man, we got to talk about the Euros, the European Soccer Championship. Start on
hey,
Thursday.
Friday,
So
Friday.
Friday,
I
Germany
looked. I
against
looked.
Scotland, right? Germany against
Yeah,
Scotland, first game. I'll
I
be
looked
watching.
at it. I
I'll be
will. You
watching.
see the U.S. got slapped by Colombia.
5-1 at FedEx Field. Why are
Yep.
they playing in Washington? Like,
I don't know.
please. That's an ACL injury waiting to happen. Just why?
Yeah. So I'm looking at the Euros and like, dude, some of these games are on Fubo TV.
Yeah,
Who's got Fubo?
no one. That's the whole point.
Um,
I,
what we didn't mention before we end this podcast is that America owns another sport now.
you talking about cricket?
America owns the sport of cricket. We're just good at everything we do. Everyone, I don't know
Well,
if you saw the Twitter beef that was going on, but all the cricket fans were like, "Oh, any cricket fan can play baseball, but baseball players can't play cricket. America sucks at cricket." And they win and beat the best team in the country in the Cricket World Cup. I don't know a goddamn thing about cricket, but
I mean, they're playing India tomorrow, so that's going to be the big one. But they did beat Pakistan, so it's going to be crazy. I mean, if they can beat India, then I'll tell them, okay, they've got what it takes. But you're right, they did beat Pakistan.
man,
So
we own another sport in this country. What's new? I can't wait for the Olympics.
can't wait for you to tell me about how, man, dude, America's so good at archery.
Oh,
It
we
goes back to
are.
our founding father.
We are.
Well, we'll have the medal count. We can do that. We can do a medal count tracker and see what countries are doing the best. We'll hit you with the best top 10 running backs and whatever else happens in hockey and NFL, or excuse me, NBA. And we'll catch you next week. Anything else you want to add?
Peace.
See you then.